Senator Bong, I think you're on mute. There we go.
Good day, Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, to the resource persons present in this hearing. Ang pangunahing tanong ko po sa hearing na ito, paano at bakit tayo umabot sa ganitong sitwasyon? Meron naman tayong umiiral na hustisya sa bansa, meron naman tayong sariling mga batas at korte. Bakit pinayagan po ng gobyerno na nakipin po ang isang Pilipino sa sarili nating bayan? Sabi nga ng mga nakakarami, too late the hero. Kaya kung anuman ang lumabas sa hearing na ito, si dating Pangulong Duterte ay ngayon nasa The Hague na po, Netherlands na po. Ano bang pwede pang magawa? I respect the initiative of this committee to hold the Senate inquiry. Bagamat nirespeto natin ang pagdinig na ito, sinasabi ko rin po ang aking mga hinanakit na parang too late na po. Walang problema sa akin mag-hearing kahit araw-araw po. Pero ang tanong, may babalik niyo pa ba si Tatay Digong? Yan ang tinatawag ko na too late the hero na po. Useless lahat ng hearing na ito kung hindi na po may babalik si Tatay Digong. Kung kaya, makiusap ko lang, kung kaya niyo po siyang dalahin doon in less than 1 day, sa loob po ng 13 na oras, dapat kaya niyo rin po siyang ibalik dito sa lalong madaling panahon. Dahil nangungulila po ang Pilipino at hindi kayang tanggapin ang nangyari sa kanya. Bilang isang mambabatas, nandun ako sa NAIA nung lumapag ang eroplanong sinasakyan ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Hindi po ako pinayagang makapasok. Kasama ko po ang kanyang mga doktor dahil may scheduled medical check-up po siya sa March 12. You may check the records po. Importante masiguro ang kanyang kalusugan dahil 80 years old na po ang dating Pangulo. Pero mukhang hindi ito naisaalang-alang po ng otoridad dahil hindi siya pinayagan na mapunta sa ospital. Hindi nadala ang kanyang mga medisina. Alam niyo po, ako ang nagpapadala ng medisina niya sa bahay niya. Linggo-linggo po yan. Dahil yan po ang pinangako ko sa kanya noon. Bagamat hindi na po siya nakikialam sa akin sa politika. Pero sa kanyang medical, ay yan ang pinangako ko sa kanya. Na hindi ko siya pababayaan habang buhay. 27 po ang kanyang gamot. Sana po'y maibigay rin ang kinakailangang gamot at medical attention sa kanya habang nasa ibang bansa. Dahil karapatan naman po ito ng bawat tao. Constitutional right po natin yan. Sanay po siya na merong nurse, sanay po siya na may doktor na nag-aasikaso sa kanya. Naikwento nga sa akin ni Atty. Medialdea na noong unang bumisita siya sa detention cell ay nakapaa siya dahil hindi po na naipasok ang kanyang mga gamit. Alam niyo, hirap na nga siya mag-medyas. Hindi na niya kayang mag-medyas mag-isa. At ngayon, it took Atty. Medialdea several days bago maipasok yung mga kagamitan na kailangan ni Tatay Digong. Mahirap talaga ang kanyang sitwasyon ngayon na nakadetain. Sa unang pagharap ni dating Pangulong Duterte sa ICC, napansin natin iba po ang kanyang pananalita. Marahil ito ang estado ng kanyang kalusugan. Sa totoo lang po, several times na po naobserbahan ko yan noon. Yung kanyang pananalita, ganun yan. Pag hindi po naibibigay sa kanya yung saktong medisina na dapat niyang inumin. Marami na pong karamdaman si Tatay Digong. Sino ba namang 80 years old na walang gamot na iniinom at walang karamdaman? Yun po ang aking kinakatakot sa ngayon, ang kanyang kalusugan at ang kanyang kaligtasan. Kaya hindi ko po maintindihan bakit hindi pinayagan ng mga pulis ang doktor na makita siya. Okay na po ako, hindi niyo po ako pinapasok. Ilang beses po akong nakiusap. Pwede ba akong pumasok, sumunod? Pinababa nga ako sa sasakyan eh. Hindi po ako pinapasok doon sa Villamor Air Base. Pero nakiusap po ako na unahin na lang po yung doktor niya at yung ambulansya. Lahat naman may constitutional right to seek medical attention when needed. Lahat ng Pilipino, dating presidente man o normal na mamamayan, lahat ay may karapatan na masiguro ang kalusugan at kaligtasan. Nakakalungkot na isang bagay na ating ipinaglaban para sa Pilipino, hindi maibibigay po sa dating Pangulo na minamahal ng marami. Ganyan ba po ang dapat na trato sa taong minahal ng bayan at minahal din ng taong bayan? Madam Chair, mataas po ang aking respeto sa kapulisan. Lalo na po sa mga babae, mataas po ang aking respeto sa kanila. Noong nakaraang administrasyon, nanumbalik ang respeto ng ating mga kababayan sa kapulisan. Taas noo po ang ating kapulisan, ang ating mga sundalo. As its highest ang respeto sa PNP. Inuna namin ang pagtaas ng sahod ng uniform personnel dahil alam namin kung ano ang sakripisyo ninyo para sa bayan. Ako mismo bilang SAP noon, ako po nangulit noon na may sakatuparan po ito dahil minahal namin ang kapulisan. Ngunit nakakalungkot, Madam Chair, na noong nandun ako sa NAIA, nakikita niyo naman po sa video, nagtanong lang po ako sa PNP spokesperson kung saan kami dapat pumunta. Dahil sabi ni Chief PNP Marbil sa 250 po. Nilapitan ko po ang inyong spokesperson at hindi po ako sinagot, tinakbuhan po ako. Sana naman bilang spokesperson, konting sagot lang naman po. Konting respeto, sumusunod naman po kami sa batas. Hindi naman siguro dapat ipagkait sa atin ang respeto at higit sa lahat ang katotohanan. Sa totoo lamang po, ilang beses na po nagsinungaling si now Brigadier General Jean Pardo. Sana po, ma'am, bilang spokesperson, totoo lang po ang sabihin mo, alang-alang sa bayan. Your duty is to be loyal to our flag and to our country. Minahal namin kayo ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Sana, konting respeto lamang po. Kung nagawa nyo yan sa akin, magsinungaling, mas nagagawa nyo po yan sa ibang tao. Respeto lamang sana. Gaya ng pagrespeto at pagmamahal namin sa uniform personnel. Pangalawang beses na po ito na hindi ka sumagot ng totoo. Sa interview mo, sinabi mo nagpupunas lang ng pawis ang ilang pulis na nakuna ng video na umiiyak habang inaaresto si Pangulong Duterte. Mapigilan mo bang umiyak? Nasasaktan po yan. Doon lamang po tayo sa katotohanan at piliin nyo lang laging magsabi ng totoo alang-alang sa bayan. We must always entrust our loyalty to the Filipinos, to our flag, and to our country. Di naman po parating sinasabi ni dating Pangulong Duterte sa inyo. Just be loyal to our country and to our flag. Last, gusto nating malaman kung may nalabag ba na proseso ang pamahalaan, nabigyan ba po ng due process ang Pangulo dahil kung seryoso tayo sa pagbibigay ng hustisya, unang konsiderasyon dapat ang karapatang pantao at ang pagsunod sa due process. Sa totoo lamang po, hindi na po tatakbo si Tatay Digong sa inyo. Di na niya kayang tumakas at alam niyo po yun. Di na niya kaya kayong takbuhan dahil hirap na nga siyang maglakad, nagsusungkod na nga lang po siya. Imbis na umunlad, bigla tayong umurong. OFWs, pinapauwi natin. Noon, ginagawa natin ang paraan. In fact, si dating Pangulong Duterte, sumusulat yan sa mga king o sa leader ng ibang bansa para makauwi. And even nagre-raise tayo ng blood money para makauwi lang yung mga kababayan natin. Pero bakit baliktad niya yan? Bakit isinuko po ang sarili nating lahi? Hindi ko lubusang matanggap na siya ay nililiti sa ibang bansa gayong siya ay isang Pilipino. Samantalang mayroon naman tayong maayos na judicial system sa ating bansa na nirerespeto. Kasarinlan yan bilang isang bansa. May sarili tayong batas, may sarili tayong proseso, may sarili tayong korte at may kakayahan tayong panagutin ang sinumang nagkakasala sa ating bayan. Madam Chair, this is now a matter of principle, justice, and humanity. Hindi ba't may sarili tayong sistema ng hustisya? Kapag may Pilipinong nagkasala, dapat tayo po ang husga. We must protect our citizens and we must stand as one. Dagdag pa dito, Madam Chair, mula noon hanggang ngayon, naninindigan naman po si Solicitor General Minardo Guevara na walang jurisdiction ng ICC sa ating bansa. Kung consistent po ang gobyerno sa posisyon na ito na hindi kilalanin ang jurisdiction ng International Criminal Court, bakit hinayaan po nitong ma-implement ng warrant of arrest ang Interpol mula sa isang korte na hindi naman natin kinikilala? Kung wala naman talagang jurisdiction at may warrant of arrest ang Interpol o ICC, sana binigyan muna ng pagkakataon ng gobyerno through the proper authority like judicial court na i-verify o suriin ang validity ng arrest sa warrant. Ang issue na ito ay hindi lamang para kay Pangulong Duterte. Ito ay mahalagang usapin sa soberanya ng Pilipinas ang nakataya dito. Alang-alang sa ating mga bayaning nagbuwis ng buhay upang makamit lang ang ating kalayaan. Alang-alang sa ating ngayon na patuloy na inaalagaan ng ating soberanya upang ang ating mga anak at mga anak na ang ating mga anak ay mamumuhay ng isang bansa na malaya at nirerespeto ng ibang bansa. Ang bawat Pilipino, mataas o mababa man ang katayuan sa buhay, dapat may gobyernong masasandalan na hindi siya pababayaan. Former president man o hindi, karapatan yan, lalo na po pagdating sa kanyang kalusugan, kaligtasan at buhay. Sa huli, bagamat andon si Tatay Digong na buong tapang na hinaharap ang kasong isinampa sa kanya, tulad ng kanyang paulit-ulit na ipinangako, napakasakit po sa dibdib na pagkatapos niya isakripisyo ang kanyang sarili para sa kinabukasan ng ating mga anak at ng bawat Pilipino, ni isang Pilipino ay hindi huhusga sa kanya. Imbis na ibigay sa Pilipino ang paghusga sa mga ginawa ni dating Pangulong Duterte na paglaban sa droga at kriminalidad, sadly, hindi po ganun ang nangyari. Sabi ko nga, para sa akin, Pilipino po ang dapat humusga sa totoong sitwasyon sa bansa. Kung mas nakakalakad na po ba ang ating mga anak noong panahon niya, hindi po nasasaktan, hindi nababastos. Kayo po ang humusga. Pilipino po ang dapat humusga. Minahal tayo ni Tatay Digong. Ginawa niya po ang lahat para sa bayan. Tanda na po siya. Ayaw na nga niyang tumakbong presidente. Pero ginawa niya po ito dahil yan po ang kanyang sinumpaang tungkulin para sa mga kababayan natin Pilipino. Pero ngayon, hindi lang si Tatay Digong ang inialay at ipinamigay ng ating sariling kababayan. Mistur lang inialay at ipinamigay din ito ang karapatan ng Pilipino na husgahan ang ating sariling kababayan at magdesisyon kung ano ang mas makakabuti sa ating bayan. As I said, March 11 was indeed the saddest day in our history. Sana po, hindi na po ito maulit. Marami pong nasaktan na Pilipino. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat sa aking kasama, Senator Bongo. We assure you that this is no time for heroics. We are determined to get the truth. We now call on Senator Jinggoy Estrada, who has manifested his desire to make a preliminary statement.
Madam Chair, I wish to waive my opening statement in order to expedite the hearing.
Thank
But if
you
you
very
will allow
much.
me to fire the first salvo, it will be very much appreciated, Madam Chair.
Kung maaari, siguro umpisahan na lang natin kasi medyo komplikado yung ating proseso. Umpisahan muna natin yung order, ano? Tapos kung pwede, sumabat na lang kayo, kikilalanin kita kaagad-agad.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Maraming salamat. Okay, at this juncture, I call on the committee secretary to administer the oath to our resource persons.
Kindly stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding. Thank you. You may now sit.
Yes, marami pong salamat. Napakaraming cabinet member po rito, mga secretary, mga napakatataas na mga opisyal ng ating pamahalaan. Can we say that as secretaries and high government officials, you are the alter egos of the president, particularly those in the cabinet? Tama po ba yun?
That is correct.
Thank you. And as you are all in the executive branch, can we say you are bound by the words and statements of the president?
Yes, Madam President, as we are bound to by executive privilege for the President.
Thank you. May I recall a clip derived from 18 February 2023. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the following, and the clip is here.
Oo, hindi, at bang. Papayagan ko sila dito, pero magturista lang sila.
I'm sorry, this seems to be an earlier statement,
Ang
2022.
pagkaunawa ko sa ICC, the ICC is there pagka walang judiciary na nag-ooperate sa isang bansa. Dahil nagkagera, dahil nasira lahat, when the economy has collapsed, etc., for whatever reason. Diyan papasok ang ICC. We have a functioning judiciary. And that's why I do not see the need for a foreigner to come and do the job for us, to do the job for our judicial system. Our judicial system is perfectly capable of doing that. And it also raises a great many questions about jurisdiction and sovereignty. What is their jurisdiction to come here into the Philippines and conduct an investigation? Is that not a violation of our rights as a sovereign nation in the community of nations? Those questions need to be answered before they can be allowed to do any investigation.
Senator Bongbong, maraming salamat.
Oh my, that went very quickly. Maraming
Maraming salamat. Thank you for your time. God bless you.
No. You have misread it. We do not cooperate with the ICC. That is the position of this government.
Pero pag ni-red notice po ng Interpol, we will be obliged to participate.
As Secretary Remulla explained before, we have obligations to Interpol, and we have to live up to those obligations.
And therefore, the next step,
Interpol.
Okay, let me say this for the 100th time. I do not recognize the jurisdiction of ICC in the Philippines. I consider it as a threat to our sovereignty. Therefore, the Philippine government will not lift a finger to help any investigation that the ICC conducts. However, as ordinary people, they can come and visit the Philippines. Pero hindi kami tutulong sa kanila. In fact, binabantayan namin sila, making sure that hindi sila that they do not come into contact with any agency of government. And if they are contacting agencies of government, na sasabihin yung whatever, policeman, local government, sabihin nyo, wag nyo sasagutin. Yun ang sagot natin, that we do not recognize your jurisdiction, therefore we will not assist in any way, shape, or form any of the investigations that the ICC is doing here in the Philippines.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
That's it? All right.
Okay. On the 18th of February, the president said, "My position has not changed. I have stated it often, even before I took office as president, that there are many questions about ICC's jurisdiction and that we here in the Philippines regard as an intrusion into our internal matters and a threat to our sovereignty." Does the DFA agree with this statement? And do we abide by this position until today? Anyone from the DFA, please?
Madam Chair, good morning.
Yes, you recognize USEC.
Yes, thank you. Well, as I speak right now, the Philippines is not a member of the ICC. and the DFA defers to the Department of Justice as the implementing agency when it comes to cooperation on ICC matters. Madam Chair.
Yes, so to the best of your knowledge and in the consideration of the DFA, we are not a member of the ICC.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And the DOJ, having been referred to, may I call on Secretary Remulla, please, to clarify this issue.
We are not members of the ICC, ma'am. So, whatever relationship we have with the ICC is on an arm's length basis if we have to talk to them. But we have never spoken to them. We have never spoken to them.
I didn't hear you. Whatever relationship we have
It's on an arm's length basis, meaning very transparent if ever. But we have never spoken to them.
arm's length.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have had contact even at
No, ma'am.
arm's length?
We do not have any contact. What we're saying is we are very transparent about what we do, and we have never had any contact with the ICC.
So you uphold the statement of the President saying that the ICC has no jurisdiction here in the Philippines. Is that correct?
Ma'am, jurisdiction of the ICC is throughout the world. We belong to a community of nations
Regardless
that
of
is
those
tied
who are
together by a legal system called international humanitarian law. It is something adopted by more than 150 countries in the world. International humanitarian law, which became a law in 2009 or 2010. And that law, that domestic law, is what we adhere to in this case.
Are you referring to RA 9851?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you indicated the date of 2009, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So therefore, we are not members of the ICC.
We are not members of the ICC since President Duterte withdrew our membership in 2018, effective 2019.
Okay. That being the position of the DILG, I assume that Secretary Remulla in the DILG also maintains the same.
Yes, ma'am. I defer to the wisdom of the Department of Justice.
And the PNP, General Marbil, please.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. If that is therefore an unqualified yes, and you are in agreement with the President that the ICC has no jurisdiction whatsoever, what was the DOJ referring to as the ICC's jurisdiction in the Philippines being different from us being a member? What is the distinction, please?
Ma'am, the ICC tries people for individual crimes, not states. So the Philippines, as a state, cannot be called upon by the ICC to do something for them. But when the ICC is running after individuals who are Filipino citizens, then that obligation becomes another kind of obligation.
So that therefore, the Senate ratification of the ICC at the time that it was ratified is of no weight. Regardless, you will fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC under
Well, for
the so-called
individuals-
international.
Yes, madam.
humanitarian- that is your belief, DOJ.
Yes, madam. When there are
Regardless
individuals
of being a party
being
or not
when
being a
there are
party?
individuals being asked by the ICC to explain, it is another matter. As a state is different from an individual. We all know that we have to.
I think that is
the
not the
individuals
question.
being charged by the ICC will have to face the ICC.
I'm perplexed. The DFA made it very clear that as we withdrew, we are no longer a state party to the treaty. And now you're saying that we can nevertheless fall under the ICC, under the generic rubric of international humanitarian law. So it doesn't matter whether you sign or do not sign, whether
Yes, ma'am.
you ratify
It
or
doesn't
do not
matter, ma'am.
ratify.
It doesn't
makes no
matter.
difference.
That doesn't make any difference anymore.
Are you certain?
I'm certain.
Okay, Attorney Saret, please, from DFA. Is that the position of the DFA?
Madam Chair, I concur with my USEC, the current acting SFA, that as far as we are concerned, we're no longer members of the ICC.
And as non-members, can we possibly fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC? under the rubric of international humanitarian law. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, I think, because we, under the...
What's the use of signing or ratifying a treaty if it bears no weight?
I defer, ma'am, to Secretary Remulla.
May I?
This one, ma'am.
I think it's your purview, your DFA.
Yes, ma'am. But yes, ma'am, technically we are no longer a member of the ICC, but we might be obligated under residual jurisdiction as what the Supreme Court in one case already mentioned, that we still have residual jurisdiction. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam Chair, if I may.
I'm a little bit perplexed given that you are part of the executive. The president has said, as he said for the 100th time, that we are not under the ICC. Why is the SOJ now saying that we are nevertheless somehow, in some miraculous way, under the rubric of the international humanitarian law, still under its jurisdiction?
Your Honor, it is not the Philippines that is under the jurisdiction. It is the individuals who are charged by the ICC, which is under the jurisdiction. There is a distinction, ma'am.
Please explain.
As non-members of the ICC, and as a state, the ICC has no jurisdiction over us as a country. But over the individuals who may have committed crimes that violate international humanitarian law, that is a universal value being held by the whole world today, that people cannot cross borders and hide behind boundaries so that they can run away from the law. International humanitarian law is something adopted. The principles are adopted by more than 150 countries throughout the world, Your Honor.
Are you of the position, therefore, that international humanitarian law, as you said, is customary law? Is that the consideration?
It is already customary law now. As we speak, it has become customary law throughout the world.
Are you aware that procedural and admin matters do not form part of customary law? Surely, the Secretary is well aware that procedural and administrative matters will still have to comply with the laws of the land.
Of course, Madam, this goes without saying.
Okay, thank you. Senator Jinggoy, I think you wanted to interject at this juncture. We recognize the Senator.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much. The DFA, the DOJ, the DILG, and the PNP has already admitted that we are not members of the the Philippines is not a member of the ICC. Therefore, why did we surrender a Filipino citizen before the ICC? Anyone can answer, Madam Chair.
We surrendered an individual to the ICC who was a subject of a warrant of arrest. That's what we did.
I did not hear you again.
Mr. Senator, we surrendered an individual to the ICC. We did not surrender as a country, but he was surrendered due to a warrant of arrest issued by the ICC through the Interpol.
Senator Jinggoy, any follow-up questions, please? Thank you. If that's the case, while we've attempted to retrieve Senator Jinggoy, let me just pursue the question of the international humanitarian law being customary law. Since procedural and administrative matters do not fall under customary law, ICC processes, therefore, are not part and parcel.
Madam Chair, the distinction of the ICC process of issuing a warrant of arrest is something accepted through a treaty, the International Police Organization.
You have just contradicted yourself, sir. You said it was customary, and now you're saying it's by treaty.
Well, we can be very technical about it, ma'am.
Sorry.
But we can be very technical about it if you wish to be. But the fact is, it is our accession to the Interpol which made all of this possible.
We will go to the Interpol later. Let us discuss the ICC at this juncture. So, while I will go with you for the sake of argument that the IHL, or International Humanitarian Law, has now become accepted as part of international customary law, I am unable to accept that ICC processes and administrative procedures as well are now part of customary law. I don't think so.
The processes are not part of customary law. We have our own administrative processes. If you ask me about this, Madam, we can say that the IHL is the domestic law that we followed in recognizing the warrant of arrest issued against Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Which domestic law and process did
Republic Act 9851, Your Honor.
as mentioned previously?
Yes, as mentioned previously, and within the provisions allows us two options, either extradition or surrender. We chose the executive mode, which is surrender.
We will go to that later, but at this juncture, therefore I get an acceptance from the Secretary that in fact the processes that should have prevailed should have been those stipulated under RA 9851 or our own local law.
We follow the process, ma'am.
Thank you. So that's correct. On the same day, if I may proceed, the President also said, I do not see what its jurisdiction is, referring once again to the ICC. Can we bring back the video? I think there is a statement there. I feel that we have in our police and judiciary a good system. We do not need assistance from any outside entity. Again, as part of the executive department, you have subscribed to this view, I assume.
Yes, Madam.
So to clarify, the statement means that the President was not recognizing the jurisdiction of the ICC over the crimes allegedly committed by the former President. Is that correct?
We do not recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC over our country. What we recognize is the jurisdiction of the ICC over individuals who may have violated international humanitarian law by committing murder and other heinous crimes.
If I may, I think the President was referring to the jurisdiction of the ICC over crimes, specifically crimes committed by PRRD. Isn't that so?
Can you rephrase your question, ma'am?
Well, you said that while the ICC has no jurisdiction over the Philippines as a state, it maintains jurisdiction over individuals and crimes under
Yes,
the
ma'am.
international humanitarian order.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. What the President said is that there is no jurisdiction over the crimes committed by the former President.
Well,
Because we have a functioning police and judiciary system. Unless you submit that we don't.
submit that we don't what, ma'am?
That we don't have a functioning police force.
We have a functioning
or
police
a
force.
judiciary.
We have a judiciary. But what we are dealing with here
You're
is crimes
contradicting your
committed
President,
14 years
Secretary.
ago to 2019. We're talking about a timeline, Your Honor, that we were not even here yet, and that it was very hard. Ma'am, may I
Yes.
continue?
Yes, carry on.
Well,
yeah.
it is very difficult for us. We made our
No, the
commitments.
President made it very clear.
We
have
made our
a functioning-
commitments to the United Nations that we would investigate all of these crimes committed during the drug war. And it was not a very easy task, ma'am, because the people that we expect to be cooperating with us were not. So, although we're still doing our investigations on the EJ case, on the extrajudicial killings committed during that time,
Yes, I'm not reviewing the drug war. This is a Foreign Relations Committee hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
But in this statement, the President clearly means jurisdiction over individuals. It's very, very clear. There's no area for quibbling. And if you say there's jurisdiction over individuals, I don't believe that you are in agreement with your president. As a matter of fact, the ICC does not try countries after all. They do try.
Our views evolve during times, at times. And I don't
So you
know
do admit
if he
that
still has the same view up to today, because we are talking about a clip which was done 1.5 years ago. Our minds can change, ma'am. We cannot just stay in one rut and say that this is the absolute, because our minds may change, and we are allowed that by the law of man and the law of God.
Yes, of course. Of course, we all change our minds, and Mr. Secretary. So you are saying that the president changed his mind?
Well, I cannot speak for him, madam. I cannot speak for him. Your conclusions are really your own, and I cannot adopt your conclusions here.
They're not my conclusions. It's a bold statement, which really...
Well, your statements of belief are your own, ma'am. I cannot adapt to your statements of belief, but I will respect them.
The statement of the president is very, very clear-cut. I would like to show also a letter in December of 2023. Do we have it on hand? Can you enlarge it so that it's much clearer? Okay. On screen is a letter dated 15 December 2023 addressed to Vice President Sara Duterte, where the President says that the jurisdiction of the ICC over the Republic after the effectivity of its withdrawal is very much in question, and I'm certain that all the members will echo my views on the matter. Would you like to comment? Anyone would like to comment on the said letter? Is it correct that if this was in fact a work in progress, as stated by Secretary Remulla, as of 15 December 2023, all the secretaries and undersecretaries already holding such positions at that time also viewed the ICC as having no jurisdiction over the country, as stated by the President himself in the letter?
We did not assist the ICC, ma'am. We continued with the very tenor of the letter, that we did not assist the ICC. We never had contact with them. The investigation that they conducted was through their own methods, and we did not in any way assist them. As said in your letter, we cannot.
It's not my letter, sir. It's the President's.
It's a President's letter. We did not assist them.
I think that's not the question. My question is simply to say that as of that date, all those in the cabinet were in agreement with the President's statement. Is that correct, Secretary Teodoro? As of 15 December.
Ma'am, the President's statement is binding, and I defer to Secretary Remulla that we did not, that no government agency, the DND, never cooperated with the ICC as in accordance with the statement.
Okay, and are there any other secretaries who'd like to verify that? We have Director Anyo, Director General Anyo, I believe you are cabinet rank as well, and the NSC sits with the President. Is it correct to say that everyone maintained the same position?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. But we did not assist the ICC in their investigation.
I don't think at this juncture we're asking about assisting the ICC. All we're asking is whether, in fact, you all agree that the ICC had no jurisdiction.
I think, ma'am, what we're talking about here is, if it's in the case of the former president, the case was committed while the Philippines is still a member of the ICC.